So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here today with our webinar on the topic, Surviving and Thriving in APAC. It's all about how do we localize our strategy to be able to succeed in the APAC market. As you all know, the Asia Pacific region stands for the Asia, or in short, APAC, is one of the largest and the most diverse gaming markets globally, spanning across numerous countries and regions, including China, Japan, South Korea, India, Southeast Asia, and beyond. Within this expansive region lies a vast community of gamers, accompanied by a rich array of cultures and languages. With such diversity among these cultures, and also these countries and regions, game developers encounter unique challenges and opportunities when it comes to localization and promotion. Therefore, grasping the intricacy of the gaming market in the APAC region is pivotal in crafting successful gaming strategies. We're very lucky today that we are joined by a lot of industry leaders and experts to delve into the key factors involved in game localization, promotion, and marketing in the APAC region. And we'll also explore effective strategies to navigate these challenges. So we're very excited to be joined with all these experts today to embark on the exploration of the future direction of the gaming market in the APAC region together. And before we start, by way of introduction, my name is Sunny, and I'm the head of global sales at Airbridge. Airbridge is one of the global mobile measurement platform that works with game developers and the non-gaming app developers to help them measure, optimize, and scale the app growth across platforms to achieve the best ROI and return on ad spends. We are a APAC company and rooted in APAC. So APAC has always been in our hearts, and we have been working with numerous countries and regions in APAC, and we are very, very excited to be navigating and learning with you all today about how we have been able to navigate across multi-region, multi-culture to all achieve the same goal, to supercharge the growth and also drive the best ROI for different mobile app developers. But I'll also love to turn the microphone to our different experts that will be joining us today. Why don't we start to have Pankaj introduce yourself first? Off to you, Pankaj.
Thank you, Sunny, for the awesome introduction. Nice to have you guys in the panel and pleasure to be a part of it. Hi, everyone. My name is Pankaj. I work with SocialPeta. We are an ad intelligence platform existing for the last 8 years. We have very strong presence in APAC, though we are a global company. We are an ad intelligence platform which is helping a lot of games and apps to increase and get optimized into their user acquisition. We have very strong database of over 1.6 billion ads, wherein we can show you and we can showcase actually the performance of the different published ads that helps all the e-com companies, apps, and the games worldwide. Love to be a part of this panel, and I hope we all can learn from each other along with the rest of the participants. Thanks, everyone. Off to you, Sunny.
Thank you, Pankaj, for the introduction. And Kumar Razan, do you mind also introduce yourself and your company as well?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is Kumar Razan, head in the mobile and apps marketing team here at Infoway. So we are having around 10 plus years experience, especially in apps marketing field. Also, we are being in the IT industry for around 20 years. So personally, I have had the privilege of working with over 50 plus clients and 100 plus apps worldwide. So we help client right from ASO activities, data research, user engagement, until to improve their revenue with effective monetization strategies. So we are having experience in all our regions, especially in APAC region. We have exclusive data to items, which helps our developers or client to excel in the apps marketing field. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Igor, please tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Pushpush. Yeah.
Sure, Sunny. Thank you so much for inviting me to this event. It's pleasure to be here. My name is Igor. I'm a senior director, business development manager at Pushpush. Our company is the world's leader of cross-channel communication. We already provided for more than 13 years, like one of the biggest players on the market. We provide cross-channel communication and user segmentation for different enterprise projects all over the globe. The key idea is to improve the key metrics of user retention, engagement within cross-channel communications with different channels. Mainly, as I already mentioned, our clients are all over the globe, but I'm precisely work with Asia Pacific region, so I'll be glad to share my experience today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Igor. As you can hear, our panelists today are joined by all these experts from user engagement, from creative optimization, and from the overarch digital marketing strategy. I'm sure, we will have a very juicy and very insightful ideas that could be shared. But so I'll just start asking a pretty general question. So given that we have all consolidated more than close to 50 years, in the digital marketing space with APAC regions, what is the key challenge that you would identify when it comes to localizing a game for the APAC market? So we can look into the language, the cultural preferences, and also the gameplay adaptation. So anyone, so feel free to jump in and tell me what is the main challenge that you have faced when it comes to localizing a game in the APAC market?
Okay, so let me take it. First, language is a crucial hurdle. While there are many AI translation tools are available, but still just using them in our App Store page won't give us better results because these tools won't capture cultural nuisances, which is more essential for targeting our players. So also the formatting becomes more crucial when considering countries like Japan and China, which uses right to left script. So in terms of ASO, we need to really understand how users are thinking, are using the language to search for particular games or apps in their respective language. So as I mentioned, the translation tools won't simply enough for this process. Second, the cultural diversity within the APAC market presents more challenge. There is a significant cultural differences in the way how people perceive numbers or colors or even animals. For example, consider a fire-breathing dragon symbolizes a danger to Western audiences. However, it represents luck in countries like China. Also, the gameplay adaptations really play a crucial role in app success. Users in countries like India generally prefer casual games with quick pick up and play sessions, where users in East Asia prefer RPG game with more intricate gameplay and deeper storylines. So we need to understand these aspects, and we need to make sure that our app has these elements before launching the game in any one of these APAC regions.
Thank you, Kumar-san. Anyone else? Any challenges with
Yeah,
regard to on top of that? Yeah.
sure. Let me just add, and I really agree with Kumar. See, language is very crucial. It is very personal thing for people. And we also have to remember that if we are publishing a game, it is for a community, it's for the people, and people do belong for different communities. APAC is like very diverse. It has most toughest languages, if you can say, like Mandarin and Japanese, probably Thai, which has alphabets in it. So when we are targeting a respective audience in any particular country, probably language is one of the crucial thing, because games are not just the images and the music now. It has the dialogues as well. If you are adding dialogues in the gameplay, probably it should align with the local language. I mean, I cannot have my accent to any Japanese or a Korean game. So maybe gamers or the game developers can actually do more R&D, or maybe work with the native speakers, not just using any uh, Google-based translation, rather than have original words from the respective languages, to have the own touch. The gameplay within the gameplay would be really really beneficial. The other aspect that you have mentioned as the technical constraint. Since these languages may have different characters, sizes for the same kind of message, maybe I can translate some like one word from Chinese to maybe Thai. So maybe the character limit may change. So from the UI point of view, uh, we have to design the UI in such a way that it does not actually hamper the gameplay or the user experience. Another thing for the culture that we said, so all the countries have some similar cultures plus some distinct cultures and norms and values. So, so the content that we put in the gameplay, we should avoid any cultural taboos, or should not go to any like unrespectful representation of the culture, and it should comply with the local laws and the community taste and the adaptation. So that's my take on it. Thank you.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I think it's my turn for now, Sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% agree with other participants about the complexity of languages and cultural differences and the way to avoid different taboos. What I wanted to add about it is for sure um, the important thing is the availability and preference for payment methods, which is widely vary across the Asia Pacific region, because some countries might prefer credit card payments while other really heavily on mobile wallets or bank transfers. So it's important to also understand these preferences. Also, I wanted to mention that taking into consideration my personal experience, I'll be mostly speaking from the perspective of mobile gaming, taking into consideration our our clients and our expertise. And yeah, so all the points that mentioned my colleagues are quite valuable. I also wanted to add about popularity of different monetization models. For example, our clients from Japan and some other Asia Pacific countries, we have observed growing trend towards the free-to-play model within in-app purchase in the region. So the majority of users prefer to start playing for free and then only purchase some additional products inside the game. Again, it's also important to mention that many of our clients really face the challenges my colleagues just mentioned, and Pushwoosh, we're accurately aware of these issues, and we frequently help our clients to avoid them. The example that comes to my mind, for example, within multi-language case, with the help of our service, for example, we often need to assist clients in determining the user's device language, so that we can send the content that the user will definitely understand. We can also help collect some other general information, which is about the users of the games, about the players, which also can be important. Here, mainly, I'm talking about, for example, device model of the player, city, country, time zone, and however, I would also point out that it's important to try to get all this information to set up a communication, but also in terms of localizing a game, it's important to analyzing user behavior and activity over a certain period of time. I believe it will cover all this topic more, answering the following questions. So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for all three of you sharing the your experience in seeing some of the seeing some of these like challenges in the market, and also from the actual user and also actual experience. And also like, kind of just bring back to what I first mentioned. APAC is such a multi-diverse region because just like a good example that Kumara-san mentioned, a dragon could be something that is very, very It could be a scary animal or creature. It could also represent good luck and fortune in some region as well. So being able to understand the differences and navigate through that is definitely a key to success as well. This will also be my next question. But before I jump into the next question, I also want to mention that for all our attendees, like feel free to use the chat box to engage with us. Right? If you have any questions that you want to ask, or if there are any areas that you want us to deep dive into, feel free to use the chat box to ask your questions, and we will use the Q&A session at the end to address it and share some insights as well. So back to the discussion. So we just talk about the challenges, and we all recognize that it's important to respect the user, to understand, put yourself in the shoes of the actual users to understand from the localization to the language, to the accent, to the payment method, to the gameplay. That is important. But it sounds very complex. How do we do it? Can you tell us a little bit more about what are some of the factors of success in order to localize your game in the APAC region? Because it sounds very daunting. There's like almost like 10 to 15 challenges that we all discussed. So can you also share about like some tips, like the top 3 to 4 ways that you find it being the factor of success in their localization strategy?
Sure. Sure, as I mentioned, like, can I take it? Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So firstly, like as I mentioned, cultural relevance is key to success, especially in countries like China, Japan, or South Korea. We need to implement these in our metadata of our Play Store or App Store page. Because based on our experience, generally users in East Asia look for game characters or gameplay in the digital assets of your App Store page. So your App Store page should have well-conveyed screenshots and videos that resonate with local audiences. For example, let's consider the Last War survival game. So they have the generalized screenshots for English-speaking countries, while they have culturally like different screenshots for region like China and Japan. So these things are really plays a huge role. It seems simple, but these roles are it increases our conversion rate for like few percentage for sure. Secondly, we need to tailor our in-game elements to the region that we are targeting. For example, users in India generally prefer the in-app elements that gives them the temporary edge, like power boost up or health boost up and so on, where players in East Asia generally prefer items like character, skins and so on. So our monetization technique should reflect these preferences. This involves setting the appropriate pricing for the targeted region and understanding how much users are willing to pay in the respective region. We can like have the royal match as an example for this. So they have the different pricing ranges for different regions. They have implemented it based on the economical shares of each region. For example, in India, users are very reluctant to do in-app purchases. So in India, like you will able to push the app if the in-app purchase rate is like very low when compared to other regions. So the Royal Match has set the base price as like around 30 cents for the in-app purchase in India, while the respective price is like around $1 in Australia and is around like 80 cents in South Korea. So it shows us how these giant app have analyzed the user behavior before launching their monetization strategies here. So one simple tip is that before launching any game or preparing any monetization techniques, you can analyze the apps who are already in the top charts because they have already implemented the sustainable plan which working for them. So we can definitely take some few takeaway items from them actually. The third point is our app should adhere to local laws and regulations, which is more crucial. For example, to comply with the local rules, PUBG has no blood mode game in India. Also, they have changed the color mode of red to green in China. So we need to keep in mind while implementing such things. And most important thing is that your app quality overshadows these factors. If your app is more engaging, you don't need to worry too much about the cultural localization. Because for example, like consider the game Wolverine Waves. They have been topping the charts in major APAC region, including Australia. You can see in China and Japan, something like that. They generally focus more on language localization, like voiceovers and text and so on, without overemphasizing the cultural localization. So if you don't have the enough resources or more feasibility for like extensive localization, just consider launching the app, which appears like globally actually. For example, games like arcade games, puzzle games. The perfect example for such game is the Royal Match, which we mentioned. So if the game is more acceptable universally, you don't need to worry too much about the cultural facts and other things. Just localize the content. That's enough for such games.
Thank you. That's very insightful. Any additional ideas like Pankaj and Igor?
Sure. I mean, yeah. Can I start? Can I? Okay.
Yeah, sure,
So,
please.
so Kumar has pointed out very important and very relevant points, like the understanding of local laws and the regulations. Because of which, I mean, we have seen in India specifically that there was a big game that got banned. So if you are launching a game which is targeted for any specific audience like 3 plus or 13 plus, so we should ensure that we are abiding the law. We know that who are our target audience and what actually local laws or regulations require. For instance, in India, there are a lot of card games that involves a lot of gambling. So those are actually banned in some of these states, but they are working on the other states. So we should know where is our audience, which audience we are targeting, where we are launching it. So that's a pretty much very global thing that we go to any country, we should know the regulations. Second thing, more about the localization. From performance marketing perspective, launching a game is more of like engaging a lot of users from different age groups. So when we do our campaigns for our own gameplay, so maybe what we should need to take care of, we should understand the local feelings and the emotions, the cultural sensibilities of the audience, and that may vary from one country to other. Uh, if you talk about India specifically, we have more than 12 regional languages. So what we're gonna probably promote in the northern part of India should not work well in the southern part of India. So when you talk about the different geographies in terms of countries, yes, so people may have different choices. For the animal character, as Kumar said, the colors also work in the same way. I mean, the white is symbolizing purity in like some of the cultures where you can not have the white dress in a wedding in some of the APAC countries. So when we create a game, gameplay, character, maybe theme play, we should understand the local market emotions as well. So it is very important when we go to deeper, like country-wise country, and we promote a game, and also we do our campaigns related to it. So it has to go with the local emotions as well. So that is something I wanted to add. Thank you.
Igor? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll take my turn. Yeah, so again, I 100% agree with the participants about the key points they mentioned, like 100%. But I would be speaking again more from the perspective of mobile gaming and my like our personal experience. For sure, returning to the previous questions, for sure it would be beneficial. I mean, to list all the key challenges again and highlight that success essentially lies in overcoming all these challenges. I'm not just talking about the fundamental ones like complying with legal regulations, acceptable payment method, well-structured business model, considering cultural, economic specifies. Um, I mean, in this case, this case in general, if we speak about localization, it can be compared to a professional football team, in my opinion. All players, for example, know the rules of the game, have been playing football since like childhood, and are skilled players. Everyone knows their strengths, weaknesses, but for some reason, the coach leaves someone on the bench, while other players in the starting lineup. And what's the reason for this? Does it mean that the bench players, they're not that good? Possibly, but more likely it's about like the coach personal perception, right? And drawing parallel to our today's topic, I think the coach vision can be compared to the peculiarity of localization in each region. It's a highly competitive landscape. It's not enough to be just good gaming project. It's good to be, but it's, in my opinion, like in our opinion, it's not enough. It's important to consider every little detail to show the users that we do not only think about the translation, we care about them, we think about them. And here again, I'm also talking about the engagement and the improvement of current audience experience um, um, after inviting them to the game. For example, at Pushwoosh, we strongly recommend segmentation based on user preferences, based on user behavior. And thanks to this user-led approach, our customers always know what interests do the app users have and what is the individual journey like. And the most important thing, what is the best time to communicate them and to retain them back to the game. For sure, it must be done on users' device language, and preferably with personalized content, which must be quite like well personalized. I also would like to emphasize the importance of continuous analyzing of current audience. On the day you launch a game, you won't know like 100% how your audience will behave in future. If you have perfectly like development plan laid out for like several years, it's crucial to keep a constant pulse on the situation and track how your users interact with your product from the moment they downloaded the game for the first time. You need to like, I'm also speaking about the experience of our clients. You need constantly ask different questions. For example, 1,000 users downloaded your game first day. Week later, only 200 of them made in-app purchases and game purchases and level up their characters. But the remaining part have only opened the game once since then. Why is it happening? Maybe they just didn't like the game. Possible. Maybe they didn't understand how the game works and you need to improve the onboarding process. Maybe they didn't want to purchase subscription and you could offer them a discount or trial. Maybe the game doesn't run well on their device model. Maybe they didn't understand the information and it needs to be translated for them, and so on and so forth. So at Pushwoosh, we constantly help to address such cases. This approach of personal care of audience, in my opinion, is also like a key factor of success of launching a localization a game project. So that's it. Mhm.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And all three of you shared really insightful methodologies and strategies to like, both addressing the challenge. And if I were to summarize, I would easily put that as this is an art and science, right? In the art side, it's all about understanding culture, the nuances, what the user behavior and the preferences are. And while the science will be the data, basically like, what it looks like. Using the football team analogy, basically the art will be like putting together the right team, and the science is all about the stats and like how the team combination comes together, and the numbers and the data that actually produce to prove the testing, what it works, what doesn't work, what needs to be further modified. And I believe like at Airbridge we are providing the data and the science towards like how to measure your localization strategy, like what is the most effective combination to help you localize your efforts, and also like what are the data to support different retention, the gameplay engagement. And I think like all four of us here, like we all represent different solutions that could actually help with different stages for the localization. So coming up, like let's also go a little bit deeper into like some of the more interesting topic. And I do have some questions for individual panelists. I'll start with like Kumara-san. So we talk about like game localization. We all know how crucial it is, especially in the APAC market. I just want to ask like Kumara-san, like why is it crucial for the prioritization? Like we all know that it's important, but why is it crucial that developers prioritize the localization at the very early stage? And can you also share how specifically .com InfoWay's expertise is when it comes to contributing to this prioritization process?
Sure. Generally, mobile games have a global audience, but to reach a wider audience, so localization must, as developers need to understand the cultural preferences of these regions. This helps them to enhance their user experience, which in turn can lead to improved user retention, user stickiness, and competitiveness or competitors, and more importantly, ability to tap into potential revenue. So that's what the key for all apps. So with over 20 years plus experience in development and marketing field, we guide game developers by utilizing our exclusive data research approach right from game auditing to improving revenue with effective monetization strategies. This helps developers to understand the trends and preference of a respective market, allowing for the more targeted and effective localization process. Also, we are having a network of native translation speakers and writers who understands the importance of cultural nuances, making sure that the content is more accurate and culturally appropriate localization. Also, we are having marketing experts who are specialized in utilizing the right marketing channels to reach the right audience. For example, if it's a hyper casual games, generally ad network like Facebook or Instagram will work well because like for these apps, just the image glimpse or a quick 15-second video glimpse is enough for users to convince them to come into our Play Store, App Store page to download. But if it's a strategy or RPG games, we need to rely more on video ads, which conveys the game's play actually. So for this, we need to up to the network, which has the good video placement like Applovin, Iron Source. So you need to relay those networks. So you need to understand the difference and data for this to implement the right effective strategies. Also, we are having exclusive designers who are good in preparing videos or image assets that resonates with local audience and make them to come to our App Store or Play Store page. Um, in terms of as earlier Igor mentioned, it's important. Whatever we are discussing now is all about launching and localizing the game, which is more like a first step of the marketing. But we need to understand the post-install KPI data and engagement strategies in order to survive in the market. So that's where tools like push will be more handy, where we can able to segment users based on their behavior and based on their interest and so on, and we can maybe effectively able to send them the personalized message at the right time. For example, if the user is stuck between level 1 and level 2, we can send him the push, or even we can able to get the feedback from him what makes him stuck between those stages, and we can take the necessary actions. So when it comes to launching the game in APAC region and marketing it effectively, we need to understand the more data here. So as I previously mentioned, the monetization strategies plays a huge role here. For example, Indian users are more like to play free games, play to free games rather than the game with the in-app purchases. So we need to effectively use the rewardable video ads here. Also, the ECPM of rewardable video ads is more in Taiwan, South Korea, and Australia. So your in-game mechanics should be in the way that engage users to interact with more rewardable video ads to tap revenue. So these kind of things we generally need to understand to launch the game. Also, currently, the community marketing is more essential in the gaming world, where we need to understand the importance of communities like Discord, Reddit, and even Twitch and so on. Because these games, these platforms are playing a huge role in spreading the like word of mouth or word of mouth or like the marketing from the common people, which gives the games the authenticity and relatability. So we need to understand these before promoting any game in APAC region. And Dalcom Infoway has more experience on those and data on these to launch the app in any area of those regions.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate like you bringing it up that localization is not just within the game itself. It's all about beyond that game itself and understanding the entire market, the channels. And I really like the way that you brought out the marketing strategies, which is also put me into like, the bit of curiosity. Maybe like that's something that Pankaj can actually help me with, is understanding that creativity part as well, like the creative and also the advertising language. So I just want to ask like Pankaj, maybe you can shed some light on this. In the process of marketing and also promoting the games, we all know that it's very crucial to have the advertising creativity align with the culture and the different preferences in the local APAC region. But what are some of the most important factors developers or app developers or game developers should consider to ensure the successful achievement of the goal?
Sure. See, when you talk about the creativity, so creativity, I mean, there is no guarantee in creativity. I mean, you create your best of something, and probably that would not work, and that would be a heartbroken. And why it is happening? Probably, I'm just creating something from my perspective, but not with the global perspective or from the perspective of my audience. My favorite color can be different than your favorite color. So when you talk about the creativity, it actually covers masses. And when we talk about the APAC, like number of countries and like two of the most populated countries in the world, so it is not very easy to target everything in just one creative or one campaign. So we need to have like tailor-made campaigns, time-to-time campaigns, and based on the traditions, local customs, and especially the holidays. Like Christmas, for an example, is almost a global holiday, and you see in most of the games, the gameplay actually adds a lot of in-app purchases and creating a lot of new costumes and a lot of new designs around it. And it is especially like from mid-December till early January. So that is the time when they actually optimize their campaigns and the gameplay. They just mold it around the Christmas, but that is not the only festival available for you. So you have lot of national holidays for each countries, some other customs and some other holidays, wherein you can actually have your own campaigns related to your gameplay, matching with the local customers, local customs. You can actually make the content which actually resonate the local audiences. This way, you can actually engage more with the target audience. You can have cultural symbols with your games gameplay for the within the some specific area, and you can use them very wisely to have the long term audience for you. People can probably get engaged with you for the long terms. So that is one thing. Also, uh, when you talk about the some regional networks, specifically for the Japan and the Korea, they have very regional networks. They are not working in some other countries. So why don't you find your audience and create your campaigns for those networks as well? So the Google, Facebook, TikTok, they are considered as a global networks. But like we can target WeChat, Line, Kakao Talk, I guess. So these are very specific to some specific target audience. So we cannot forget these networks as well. Uh, Plus, any ad which is working well for me, probably in some reason, it's not a guarantee that it should also work in the other reason. So in SocialPeta, what we actually do, and we do advise you to actually analyze the historical data for any app, any game, any gameplay, any game theme, and you can actually see what was actually working well when they started a campaign, probably in the beta version, and what is exactly working now. The networks probably were working very well maybe 6 months ago are not very famous now. maybe people are like bored to log into some of the social media at this moment, and something new has been introduced to the young population, and it is actually working well there. So we need to have all these recommendations in mind, and we create our campaigns according. And some other things that we have already spoken about, like the advertising regulations and all, we can always keep all those in mind, so that our hard work doesn't go or just to avoid any legal bans or legal issues. So these are the main things from a creative perspective. We have to open for. We have to keep on changing our strategies based on the customer response, because it is the customer who's actually engaging. So if a video ad is probably not working for any particular region, maybe we can try the playable ads for some time. We can change the CTAs. So playing with all these criteria may actually help you understand your customers more, and maybe we can have better engagement, and we can build a huge community within our games. So that's my take on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Pankaj. And I can't agree more that a marketing strategy is going to be essential for any marketing campaign. But this is having a strategy and executing a strategy is not the last step. It could probably be the very first step because, like you mentioned, there will be changes according to different seasonal factor, different change of customer behavior and preferences. And that's why data and tracking data becomes more and more important and also pivotal for you to be a successful campaign, because having the real-time data being tracked, marketers or developers could swiftly change their strategies or course guide their strategies to achieve higher ROI or ensure success. So it sounds like it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, but then having a strategy that, and also with the right data to help you course correct and also fine-tune to guide you to a better ROI or better return on ad spend would be the key success factor. So I was also wondering about, like, in terms of customer or retention or user engagement, APAC has always been one of the lowest region when it comes to gaming apps for their retention rates. So I know that at Pushwoosh and also Igor's team, you have all been analyzing and working with like multiple customers in the APAC region to really help drive the app engagement strategies. So can you share a little bit more insight about how do you and your team have been working with APAC customers to ensure the engagement strategy and the content align with the cultural specifics and the preference of the target markets? Can you tell us more about from an app engagement perspective?
Sure, Sunny. Sure. I mean, indeed, our clients, often come to us with the main challenge to decrease churn of costly acquired users, and that's actually where our team has like a biggest expertise. I already mentioned the importance to provide gamer with a smooth, user-focused experience, engaging them with the right content at each stage of the life cycle. It's an important thing. According to our internal data, high app engagement metrics like daily active users, monthly active users, stickiness rate correlate with the high messaging performance. Opt-in rate, CTRs, user CTRs. This emphasizes the importance of user activity and the positive impact that elaborate communications like push notifications, in-app messages, emails. What shall we do with that? First of all, experiment to understand the local audience. What content works, like my colleagues mentioned, what content works for them best? Compare sending content in different languages, for example, in English and the local language. What exact time are your players free to pay attention to your push notification? For example, our latest feature, which is called best time to send, which analyzes the best time automatically based on the user behavior inside the application, can help you with that. In a single channel, like, is the single messaging channel enough for the user, right? Maybe we should go with omni-channel approach with the current audience. There is also a thing called A/B testing, which allows you to test different hypotheses. It will give you the answers, which one works better in terms of CTR and other metrics for your audience. Another thing that I already mentioned is onboarding. if you aim at retaining your game app audience in the long term, improving, for example, day one retention should be priority goal. Our data reveals linear relation between day one, day 7, day 30 retention. So you just need to explain the key game feature, offer welcome gifts using, for example, colorful in-app message or some other content. Another thing is re-engagement. At PushWhoosh, we provide all necessary transparent analytics for understanding at which moment app users becomes less active. Which with this data in hands, you can detect those users that are likely to churn and engage them before they do that. For example, so-called RFM segmentation, or our latest feature, which is called retention table, where you can, for example, set an event. First could be application installed and game started. And you can see from the day one, like what part of your audience still starting the game on day one after installing, on second day after installing, on third, on seventh, and you can group the audience who becomes less active and set up personalized communication just for them, choosing the best possible channels. I think you can't go wrong if you offer something new to your users, like levels, equipment, promo codes, challenges, bonuses. Is good practice. I think one of my colleagues mentioned is to celebrate some local events. For example, Diwali in India, delighting your gamers with gifts, special offers. This not only to show your app users that you care, but also it stimulates app monetization. Daily offers prove to increase active users by like almost within our clients, it's about like 18-20%. One of the clients has currently like 16. So another thing that you may ask, how you can build a truly user-focused messaging strategy. In this case, we consider user journey activities that you can use as triggers for setting up communication. For example, it can be like such as tutorial completed, premium feature tried, subscription expired, item purchased, level reached, level completed, points gained, award received, no points left. So with PushWhoosh cross-channel communication tool, it's easy to track like individual gamer behavior, latest progress and achievements, social interaction, average session duration, and engage them at the right moments, at the right time. So this will definitely help to improve this retention rate if we take into consideration all the things I just mentioned. So that's would be the answer. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Igor. That's a very, very insightful way of how to leverage the multiple different channels of user engagement to drive that user coming back, keep coming back to the app, or interact with the app, or grow that loyalty with it. I know we can talk for hours because, like, all four of us accumulate numerous of years of experience and multiple customers. But of course, like, we can't keep our audience here whole night or whole afternoon. So it comes to our very, very last question, and I'll just make it a very, very short answer for everyone as well. So out of all the tips and tricks you'll share, do you mind sharing just one thing, the most effective strategy for promoting and reaching out to the best, to the target audience across the APAC region? So consider if for our attendees today to really have one thing to remember out of this session, what will be the most effective strategy that you want our audience to remember after our session? Pankaj, do you want to start first?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, my answer would had two hints. I would mention 2 points here. One is the localized marketing campaigns. So it is not just limited to any particular country, but within the country itself, it can have like different cultural differences. So one, whether it is a country specific campaign, and once you have identified the country, probably you can have India as a big country, you can have a regional variations into your campaigns. So you can put all those elements based on the local linguistic variations. And second, which social media networks you actually want to market on. So something which is working really well on one region doesn't actually work in the different regions. So these two aspects you really need to be very careful on, that you are targeting an audience who actually understand your message the moment it appears on their screen, and you actually appear on their screen so that you are aware that which networks they are actually engaging on. So these are the key points in very short answer from my side. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Igor, off to you. Like, what's the best strategy that you'll, there's one takeaway that you want all our audience to remember today?
Sure. In this case, I think I'll get back to the main idea of all my answers, that it's not only important to attract and to acquire new audience. I mean, it's for sure it's important, but it's also important to work with your existing audience to take best out of it. Meanwhile, activating like existing gamers is a great way to improve ROI of your marketing efforts and boost app revenue. Another important aspect I wanted to mention is the power of it taken into consideration gaming industry, right? It's the power of word of mouth in gaming in general. So I think many of us can have kids or like people who play different games. So the idea is that the pattern is the following: the longer and the more some players play the game, the more likely they are to recommend it to someone. So investing in your current audience experience and engagement also helps to attract new users. I mean, it's kind of not a big secret. And regarding our expertise, so just after using our tool, for example, or some other players on the market, like I'm only speaking about our tool. After 2 or 3 months, many of our clients start to see some improvements in user activity and engagement. Over time, some clients double their performance metric, both in terms of revenue, engagement, and also saw growth in their new user base due to recommendation. So we have accumulated like 10 years experience and with the game apps in different markets, including Asia Pacific. So just anyone who is watching us now, feel free to reach me out on LinkedIn or by email. I'll be glad to tell you more about our tool and answer any of your questions. That's it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Kumar-san, like, off to you. One thing.
Yeah, yeah. So already Elgar and Pankaj covered the points. But apart from traditional marketing, like what we are speaking, go with the regional ad network and so on. So nowadays the trends are slowly moving towards user-generated content and making using of it. Also, like the term influencers has been getting replaced by the term called digital creators. So people are generally believing the items like coming from those digital creators. So we need to make use of those user-generated content well. For example, like the one of the game called Among Us. So it has been like generally streamed by like two digital creators earlier, and like with word of mouth and other like possible outcomes, that app has become huge success actually. So you don't like you can do localization and you can do regional marketing and you can do influencer marketing, but one thing that we need to keep in mind is like the quality of the game is that what that going to like position in the user's mind. So you don't need to compromise anything there. So once that has been done 100% and you can experiment all these actually. So that's my point on that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And for me, the one key takeaway for all the audience today is that we presented the challenges and the different strategies to succeed. But keep in mind that APAC is still a growing market. This is where your next billion users are going to be coming from. It is definitely very complex, but don't be too worried or too anxious. You're not alone, right? We're all here. We are all different experts here. We should all have a very strong division of labor. You should be focusing on doing what you're best at, which is developing the game, and leave the rest to us, right? I mean, we have creative experts from SocialPeta. We have the overall digital marketing experts from Kumar's team at .com InfoWay. And we also have experts from the on the user engagement side from PushWhoosh. And obviously at AirBridge, we have the right tracking data to help you navigate through the complexity of APAC using real-time data and help you find out what's working, what's not working. So I think like in order to succeed in APAC, you can only go so far by yourself, but in a way of like collaboration and cooperating together, it will be a piece of cake for us to find our next billion users. So with that, we can just quickly jump into the Q&A session. So we got one questions from the registration form. And it's free for all, right? Is it necessary to have a local studio when it comes to entering the APAC market due to cultural differences? It is a tricky question, right? So I'll let you all like jump in and answer. Is it necessary to have a local studio or local team, a local presence in order to start with APAC?
I'll just give my point of view. I mean, it is not necessary because you may be an indie developer. You have a small team, but you have very strong game, and it can have acceptance in the other regions as well. Uh, and it is not necessary because probably you can have people working for you on some contract basis for some kind of to give you the insight on the local events. I think that can work, but it is not very necessary to have your own setup in all the countries for your game. So I think things are available online, and you can always connect with people who are working with you uh, online. So I mean, it's not necessary to have your offices in all the cities. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it could also be a different phase approach as well. At the very beginning, I agree with Pankaj. You might be testing the market, you might be running a few experiments and A/B testing on both the creative strategy or your digital marketing strategy or even user engagement. But then once you have enough data to support that this is a growth market, this is where you want to further invest in, then having a local team could also help you navigate through some of the cultural nuances and also help you get closer to your users and really be in their shoes, literally and literatively and figuratively. So yes, like it's not a yes or no question, but it could also be a different time or different phase question as well. Any other questions from the Q&A? I know we are almost at time, like, we don't want to take further time, but if we don't have any other Q&A sessions, I'll definitely love to wrap it up. I would like to thank all the panelists for joining us today, sharing your number of years of experience and also like, what you have seen in the market. And also, most importantly, what's next in the market and how our app developers and game developers can navigate at ease. So we can definitely like, like we mentioned, like we can always be available, and we are more than happy to have a chat with you all individually if you want to have a much more customized and a deep dive discussion. So you can all find us on LinkedIn, and after the session, you will also receive a survey, and we can always like follow up with you to share a little bit more on how we think we can help you add value to your APAC localization strategy. With that, we'd love to close today. I would like to thank all our panelists again today, and also thank all the attendees, as well as like our organizer today for hosting such an eventful afternoon for us. Good luck with your APAC localization strategy, and we will definitely talk to you soon. See you all. Goodbye.
Bye bye. Take care all.
Thank you.